going on, everyone? Welcome to the RabidMining YouTube channel, and thanks to Osprey Electronics, I got the opportunity to gain remote access into their E300 14 gigahash KASPA miner. Now, initially looking at this thing, I never physically got to look at it or anything, but judging by these pictures, yes, it does look like your L3 Plus type of ASIC miner, but this is not an ASIC. This is actually an FPGA. Now, it's 3 FPGAs if you really want to get technical. So the specifications are 3 of these Xilinx UltraScale VU33P FPGAs. So there are 3 of these within like your typical ASIC L3 Plus type of frame here. It's got the loud fan, sounds like an ASIC, looks like an ASIC, but this is in fact an FPGA miner. So FPGA actually stands for Field Programmable Gate Array, which means it's pretty much manufactured and then you as the owner have to program it for various types of tasks. There's no BIOS or programming already set on it. You got to do that manually. This comes in the form of bit streams. Now, I'm very new to FPGA, so I don't really know much about them, but you do have to know some technical know-how in order to program these or purchase bit streams from various devs in order to mine certain things. So before I went into this, I did ask in my Discord section if anyone had any questions they wanted me to ask Osprey. And here's the first question. Will Osprey be providing customer support for the FPGA and reprogramming for different algorithms, or will they just provide hardware and you have to figure out the rest? So that is a great question. And their response was, yes, they fully support everything. So as we look on their website here, here's Summer. So here it says support future other mining algorithms, Ergo and RxD. So that's Radiant. So when these bit streams do become available, then yes, it'll be listed on their website in some type of directory. You can simply download it and install it onto your FPGA miner, and they do it. So they do fully support everything with future algorithms within their Osprey Electronics E300. So nice and simple, quick download. You don't have to purchase it from any other devs. You can get it straight from Osprey themselves. So that's a nice thing to know. So here we have another question. Will it be sold by other resellers or only exclusively through their website? What is their expected stock supposed to be like? I'd like to order one, but only ever seen it listed out of stock. Now, this is a great question because it will determine how long do GPUs actually have left in mining KASPA? Because once too many of these do hit the network, then obviously GPUs aren't efficient enough unless you have free power, and KASPA mining will end on GPUs eventually. But the good thing is there is not much stock available. It does sound like it's only going to be listed through Osprey Electronics themselves. Now, it doesn't mean third-party sellers won't buy some and then up the price and try and get a little bit of profit out of there. But as far as it sounds right now, it's strictly only from Osprey Electronics. Also, there isn't much stock. There's only a couple hundred of these sold. They're trying to get a lot more supply, but it's very difficult to get these FPGAs manufactured and out the door at reasonable rates. So it does sound like it's going to be a while and there isn't that much stock available. Another question we have is, how long is the warranty period and where can it be serviced during warranty period? It's out of stock currently according to their website. When can we expect more stock? So the warranty period is only 30 days, so it is not very long. So I know some of you probably don't want to hear that. And for service, I'm not really sure. I'm assuming you're just going to have to send it back to Osprey themselves, depending what the issues may be. And as for stock, you know, it's very hard to tell. There's not much out there. Production is very slow right now, but they are trying to get more and more made as fast as they can. And then for the final question here, we have, how does adjusting power scale performance? And there's another amazing question because we want to know. Efficiency is the whole marketing with this thing. It doesn't use much power and gets a massive amount of hash rate. Now, I do see things are changed from when we did gain remote access. So here it also says the supporting mining algorithm. This only used to say Ergo, but now they have RxD or Radiant within this as well. So that's been added in. Also, this was listed at 14 gigahash at 250 watts. Now, it does look like it says from 250 up to 500 watts. Now, when we did test this, I did get screenshots and we were hitting that 14 gigahash mark at around the 400 watt mark here. So that gives you an idea kind of how the scaling does work. So let's jump into the setup process and how this whole thing works. It is pretty much a plug and play machine. Now to set this miner up, like I said, it is pretty plug and play. So within the miner dashboard itself, you can see right here, it's simply using Team RabidMiner as itself. So it's defaulted to Wooly Pooly. So I'm assuming all these 300s for testing purposes was on Wooly Pooly. So that's where a lot of that hash rate is coming from. But I did switch this over into Hero miners for that 0% fee coming in through December here. So I'm just going to copy my KASPA address, just like setting up any typical miner. You go in here and change the parameters under everything if you're familiar with Team RabidMiner. Now, if you actually look down and you see the core clocks right here, you can see the FPGA core lock here equals 550, 550, 550. So this is each individual FPGA chip. So there's 3 of them, and you're locking the core at 550. Now this is the setting that I think was probably around that 250 mark watts, but it doesn't hit the 14 gigahash. Now, once you have all that set, you simply hit the start button. And then once you hit start, it will engage the FPGA miner, kind of like hitting the go command in HiveOS or whatever. So now the FPGA has begun running. We're going to go into the miner logs, and you can start to see this thing slowly ramp up. So if you're familiar with a Jazz miner or anything, it will take a little bit of time to start doing its thing. You won't have initial hash rate right off the get-go, but it's nowhere near as long as something like a Jazz miner. Here's the system log. You can see it's slowly loading everything, the pool getting its jobs. We're at 0 hash rate so far, but you can see FPGA 0, 1, and 2, the 3 individual FPGAs that are within the single box, making that total miner up for you. So you can see here with our 550 set on each core clock, we're doing about 4.37 per FPGA chip. So a total of 13.14 gigahash. Now I think this is where we're hanging out at around 250 to the 300 watt mark. And now we're gonna kind of go over where we asked to crank it up a little bit.
Clock here. When do you want to run with higher clock, higher heart rate?
Sure, we can do that. We can crank it up a little bit if that's okay with you guys. So we're going to crank it up here. So let's show you how they actually change these settings. So you do got to make sure you hit the stop button before you actually start doing that. And you can see they're changing the 550s up to 650, 650, and then 580. And then you hit that start button. Now I'm not sure why they didn't put the third FPGA onto 650, only 580. I couldn't really get an answer for that, but this is how we ran it up. But we did hit that 14 gigahash mark moving forward. Now with these settings, this is where I did get the pictures in from the FPGA, and this was using a little over 400 watts at these settings. And here's the miner log with the new settings. You can see 650, 650, 580, and then the FPGA chips are doing, chip 0 is 5.17 gigahash, chip 1 is 5.17 gigahash, and chip 2, which is the little bit lower one, is 4.61. So it looks like if they were all running, we would get a bit more, but their total hash rate is sitting around the 14.97 gigahash mark at a little over 400 watts. So that is pretty insane, as some people are saying, you know, I'm getting 15 gigahash, 16, 17 gigahash on GPUs, but you're using like 1800 watts or something. So this thing is a massive efficient monster. All right, so let's take a look at the current profitability of the E300. So if we come into what to mine and we're looking at the default specs that it's being marketed as, it's 14 gigahash at 250 watts. What to mine at 11-cent power. Current prices is saying $5.29 before power. That's if you had free power or something, solar, whatever. And after power, if you're paying for your power with 11 cents per kilowatt hour, that is $4.63. For a total hash rate here, we have 439.81 terahash currently on the network, and we're getting around 763 to 767 coins per day. Now, this is all default specs. We're going to fast forward and look at what this miner has actually been doing. So here we are in Hero Miners, 0% fees. All the coins that we do mine is ours. Unlike other ones, it's a December promotion going on right now. So we're going to get more KASPA here. So for the past 24 hours, and it has been mining for about, I don't know, I guess a day and a half or so, but past 24 hours, we are getting 790.83 coins. Now we can see our hash rate here. It has spiked upwards of times based on shares of 15.46. And I believe some actually hit the 16 gigahash mark, 15.75. There was one here. I don't know what it is. But regardless, our average hash rate for 24 hours is 13.48. So not quite that 14 gigahash, but we are pretty close. 13.5 gigahash here. And unlike the 250 watts, which is it's being reported as, we're actually using 400 watts at the wall. So almost twice the power. But this is still a very profitable miner. So let's do all the numbers and see what these new specs do look like today. So based on 791 coins in the past 24 hours, that works out to a price, or I guess before power costs of profits, $5.53 per 24 hours. That's looking pretty good. Now at 11 cents per kilowatt hour, that does work out to be about $1.05 worth of power. Subtract that, we're making about $4.48 after power at 11 cents per kilowatt hour, which is what I'm actually on. So, this is looking fairly good. It's pretty profitable. It's a $3,000 or $4,000 miner. I know you're thinking, oh, ROI is way too long. But some people think, KASPA could hit 15, 16, maybe 17 cents in the next bull run. If this was to hit 16 cents in the next bull run, and it's hitting about 791 coins a day, that is $126 every single day. That profitability is absolutely insane. All right, guys, so that pretty much does wrap up this video. So we got some hands-on kind of experience with the E300 14 gigahash FPGA miner, courtesy of Osprey Electronics. And I guess final sum up is, this thing will ultimately destroy GPUs on KASPA. KASPA GPU mining is coming to an end, but it's not going to be anytime soon, due to just the levels of stock and everything that's been going on with FPGAs, manufacturing errors, and all sorts of other things. So we have some time, maybe a year, maybe a little bit longer. I don't know, but I think this, if you really do plan on mining KASPA, and KASPA has a bright future ahead of it, you're going to have to transition away from those GPUs and move on to something like FPGAs and these E300s. So thank you for watching this video, guys. Hopefully it clears the air on this KASPA miner. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.